Okay, I'm back after a long time. I've been working on many other things, but I'm very happy to be back to this topic of evolution and sustainability, Anthropocene. As you know already, Anthropocene was not accepted as an official geologic period. They have criteria for meeting those requirements, but nonetheless the word sticks. So here the descriptor Anthropocene sticks and will be used extensively, I'm sure. Evolution and sustainability, gathering the strands for an Anthropocene synthesis. Already we've been looking at the series of papers that are talking about the evolutionary aspects, the traits that we get by genetic inheritance and vertical learning, oblique learning, horizontal learning, all those good things. The key question is, are we capable of I'm trying to see if I'm pronouncing it right. Are we capable of sustainability, which would require global cooperation? So this is actually a paper that introduces the other papers in the series, but I put it later because the basic traits are better in terms of starting with the other papers. So how did human societies evolve to become a major force of global change? What dynamics can lead societies on a trajectory of global sustainability? The astonishing growth in human population, economic activity, and environmental impact has brought these questions to the fore, and these series of papers are trying to address some of these. This theme issue pulls together a variety of traditions that seek to address these questions using different theories and methods, which we already looked at, but it's okay. In this introduction, we review and organize the major strands of work on how the Anthropocene evolved, how evolutionary dynamics are influencing sustainability efforts today, and what principles, strategies, and capacities will be important to guide us towards global sustainability in the future. We present a set of synthetic insights and highlight frontiers for future research efforts which could contribute to a consolidated synthesis. This article, of course, is part of the theme we are looking at evolution and sustainability, gathering the strands for an Anthropocene synthesis, which is the title of this paper because it's the introduction to the issue, which is common when you have a edited collection of papers in a particular topic. There is always an opening piece by the editor or somebody else. I'll briefly go through the main points as some nice figures, but obviously I'll be brief again. And this is really a nice set of papers that you should read. I'm not sure how this will lead to action. You know, it's one thing to do research and say a revolution makes us cooperative within the group, but intergroup cooperations are often based on alliances to deal with the third group, or we are just competing with each other for how quickly we can exploit resources and how we can sell things to others. But is it always a zero-sum game, or can it be a non-zero-sum game? This is a key question, right? And here, the point is whether evolution ever will allow us to come out and see that this is a non-zero sum game. Sustainability, right? Sustainability is about how humans can preserve opportunities for future generations on the planet. Evolutionary thinking about such human environment interactions has a long history. However, while this thinking has continued to develop, the sustainability challenge has become increasingly global, and humans have become increasingly aware of its role in driving global change. So, we are all globally connected. Human activities are threatening the stability of the Earth's climate, as we say. But what does it mean? You know, Earth's climate is stable. It's about whether warming will become dangerous for us, right? So the survival of many co-inhabitants is obviously jeopardized, and the basis for stability of human civilizations has been the Holocene stable climate. So in that sense, we are pushing towards instability of our own existence in some sense. Dealing with these global sustainability challenges is the central question for whether human success will be long-lasting or short-lived, and whether it will be inclusive or for the few. Good questions, normative, strategic, analytic, and so on. So let's just look at what is imagined here as a human Earth system, there is obviously the geosphere, the biosphere, technosphere, and the social sphere. And there are feedbacks between all of them. What we do affects the geosphere. Geosphere obviously responds. So you have system level evolution with abiotic realm and the Earth. Uh, Evolved over the 4.6 billion year history. Life, climate, and atmosphere, climate have all evolved together with the tectonics playing a role. Biosphere is, of course, the extended synthesis, eco-evolutionary dynamics, and there is co-evolution, and we are in the biological realm here, as opposed to the abiotic realm and the Earth in the geosphere. The technosphere, it's all material. We extract things, we build things. Evolution of technology has happened, and it has fed back with the biosphere and geosphere. We do mining, we do urbanization, deforestation, and of course, there is a social sphere where cultural evolution happens. And we think we are unique in this, but now there is more and more evidence that all the other species also have some kind of a cultural evolution that we haven't understood yet. Maybe AI will help us with that. But there's a co-evolution among all these biosphere, technosphere, social sphere. In the social sphere, of course, we are worried about social behaviors, institutions, and norms. And in this context, we are trying to see if our social behavior will allow us to come together and avert any major crisis that may come out of this continued emissions and climate change. So the human activity or forcing of the Earth system has gone on for a while. How did the Anthropocene evolve? So at the present time, here we are. What are its current dynamics? So you can think of it in many ways, evolution and sustainability in the human Earth system. Evolution in the Anthropocene takes place within and between, so you have all these uh, arrows that we'll see in the next chart. Four overlapping and embedded spheres that we talked about already here. And there are all these feedbacks, the arrows that we are talking about. And some of the major theoretical frameworks are indicated for each sphere along with some of the phenomenon they pertain to, that we see in italics here: biological realm, abiotic realm, material realm, social behaviors, institutions, and so on. And here we are looking at three time horizons: the past, the present, and the future. And we are, of course, worried about where we are headed, even as present itself is getting more and more chaotic with all kinds of conflicts, which may be related to climate change, but climate impacts are already here, affecting the poor more, and so on, right? So this is the major questions asked in these papers. So human environment systems, major processes involved in the evolution of the Anthropocene and their interactions in dynamics within and between human environment systems. So we have internal dynamics, so within groups and societies, cultural evolution of practices and technology, ecological evolution, ecological changes in resource use, populations, and environment, where we become more and more efficient at using, exploiting resources. Then we change the environment, we adapt to it. So ecology changes, we respond, and we change ecology more. So we end up with niche constructions in this sense, with ecological inheritance interacting with these. What is this internal dynamics doing? It is looking at between system dynamics. So spread of cycles with positive feedbacks in the physical system, ice albedo feedback in the human system. You have this exploitation, population growth, complexity of societies, hierarchies, inequities, justice, etc. Multi-level selection for cooperation within group, across group, and so on. So persistence selection happens. For example, environmental practices, technology, and worldviews. What becomes upscaled, stable, and sustains, or what gets downscaled and stable and sustains? We have seen many environments of civilizations disappearing or merging with other civilizations and so on. So accelerating global change, here we have increased population, emissions, uh, environmental degradation, biodiversity loss, and so on. So rapid shifting ecological and evolutionary dynamics, shifting baselines, climatology itself shifts, for example, short-termism, how we have evolved to think short-term without any sense of how much is needed for the future in terms of saving money, right? We talked about that. Novelty as a trap, so are we always chasing new things without worrying about whether that's good or bad for health, for well-being, and so on? And then there is overriding global connectivity, which allows long-distance relationships. You're talking to people on social media that you will never meet, have never met, decoupling actions and consequences. So you will sit here and do something. It has global consequences because we are dealing with pollution that is affecting the global common like atmosphere or oceans. Information overflow. So, you can get whatever you want online, that confirms your bias or constantly, contradicts your belief system. And contagion and constraints, how religion and other organizations spread rumors and how it constrains some people or some groups and so on. The relationship between theories concerned with and key capacities needed for the future evolution of global sustainability in the Anthropocene. So this is kind of where the rubber meets the road, right? So are we actually capable of overcoming our evolutionary baggage, which has long, long, long history, and face the crisis we are creating now? Collective learning and action is an important component of evolvability of uh, evolvability for Anthropocene sustainability. Examples of frameworks, approaches, concepts, and theories are listed. How we frame the problem, how we look at the concepts we have, and what theories can come out of it, and what actions can emerge from those. So collective learning and action as a part of evolvability for transition to Anthropocene sustainability. But collective learning and action have the ability to enable frameworks, design principles, systems mapping, pathways, practices, adaptive management, contextual behavioral science. So we constantly keep learning and doing things, but not always without unintended consequences. Evolvability requires approaches where agency is important for everybody, right? Even poor people should be allowed to act if they are willing and able. Intentional evolution, transformative capacities. Are they always good? Well, we have transformed ourselves into a technological species, but now it has a lot of negative impact. Anthropocene sustainability then requires concepts and theories. So we talked about the evolutionary, we looked at these already in how evolutionary theory, evolutionary transition one and two happen. Gaia, where you think species are modifying their environment to make it better for themselves. Sapiozoic, where we are, aware of what we are doing as opposed, it's intentional evolution. Noosphere is kind of a concept that I won't get into. It's a thought process. It's a German origin word that you can read more. I have actually a podcast somewhere you can find. Earth stewardship. Are we capable of working together to save the planet? Will mitigation at local scales add up to global sustainability? And the good Anthropocene, are we going to actually change the definition of Anthropocene as it stands now as having a lot of impact because of our activities versus where we become very sustainable and completely diminish our impact and allow natural forces to take uh, dominance again. Is that really good for us? Not necessarily, but at least we won't be in control of our own destruction if that's what we are, that's where we are headed. But I'm always careful about those extreme views. I don't think we are going extinct. I don't think there is a climate crisis. We are still kind of looking for solutions. We are doing a lot of things. We may end up with good solutions. In the meantime, many species will pay a price, but also a lot of poor people are paying a price. So we have to be careful. Finally, there are many strands converging on the topic of evolution and sustainability in the Anthropocene in all its diversity. We hope this same issue helps highlight the many opportunities for consolidation of these strands to speed up one of the most important and challenging issues for science in our time. Finally, We wish to thank all contributors to this issue, including those working behind the scenes with reviews and other guidance. So obviously I put it not in the beginning at a later stage, but that's okay. I'm running late for another meeting, so I will run now, but see you in the next podcast.